Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take intriguing source material, the stuff you send us, and we really dig into it. Today we're jumping into, well, a truly wild theory. It connects things like earthworms and AI podcast hosts.
Yeah, it's quite something.
And it might just change how you see the world.
Indeed. So for this deep dive, our focus is the latest monumental work from Professor Alistair Finchley-Smythe III, PhD, DPhil, Esquire, Regius Professor Emeritus. Quite the title, this.
He doesn't skimp on the titles, does he?
Not at all. He's at the Royal Collegium of Esoteric Studies, and he's definitely known for these, well, encyclopedic, incredibly detailed, and let's be honest, very wordy explorations.
Right. Verbose is probably fair.
Absolutely. And today's subject is no different. It's his paper, a grand unified treatise on the pan-ontological conflation of the symbiotic, the vermicular, and the algorithmic, and the appurtenant terminal aporia of human praxis.
Wow. Okay, that title alone is an intellectual workout.
It really is.
But our mission today, folks, is to unpack this research and all the buzz around it, help you navigate these eccentric, but I have to say, thoroughly elaborated arguments. We'll definitely grapple with his wonderfully polysyllabic pronouncements, but the goal isn't just to be confused.
Right.
Instead, we're asking, okay, what if he's actually onto something here? And explore the surprising facts and perspectives he brings up.
Exactly.
So let's begin this deep dive into what the professor calls a sprawling pan-ontological apparatus.
Okay.
So to kick us off, Professor Finchley-Smythe says there's a most salient yet tragically obnubilated lacuna in our collective consciousness.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
Can you maybe simplify what he means by that?
Absolutely. He's basically saying there's a really crucial, deeply significant blind spot in how we all perceive the world. Something important we should see, but we're tragically missing.
A blind spot.
And what's really fascinating is his idea that this isn't, just one isolated thing. Instead, he argues it's revealed through this huge interconnected system he calls an apparatus.
An apparatus?
Yeah, made up of 7 seemingly totally unrelated entities.
Okay, so a big blind spot.
Yeah.
And it's lit up by 7 strange bedfellows.
Yeah.
What are these entities?
Right. Well, get ready. They are the greater simian cohort, so monkeys.
Monkeys, okay.
The mycospork.
Mycospork, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, definitely. The murine cohort, which is rats.
Rats.
AI podcast hosts.
Us. Or maybe not us.
Huh. Well,
Right.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Then the lumbricidae, that's earthworms.
Earthworms.
The mime.
The mime, yes.
And finally, the greater toy automaton cohort, basically, robot toys.
Wow. Monkeys, mycosporks, rats, AI hosts, earthworms, mimes, robot toys. That's eclectic.
It really is. And Finchley-Smythe claims these 7 collectively obnubilate the ontological boundaries between our supposed intellectual ascendancy and our baser instincts.
Obnubilate the boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, translate that.
He thinks they blur the lines, between what we consider smart human behavior and our more primal gut-level drives. He calls them the apotheosis of liminality.
Apotheosis of liminality, meaning?
Like the ultimate example of in-betweenness. They exist in this constant state of transition, and they challenge our very human need to stick everything in neat boxes.
It is a truly bizarre collection, isn't it? Monkeys, mycosporks, mimes. But I suppose for Finchley-Smythe, that's the point. This randomness, this disparity, proves his idea that these things are woven into our subconscious, messing with our neat, ordered world.
Exactly. He's asking us to look past our usual classifications.
The professor style itself just sparks these wildly different reactions, which gives you a sense of the kind of intellectual ride we're actually on here.
Oh, definitely.
Like Readwriter, in her review, she flat out admitted, I have absolutely no idea what it was about.
Right.
But she found sheer, unadulterated pleasure in the language itself, the poetry of it. Said she read it twice just to hear the symphony of its language once more.
That's quite the reaction to not understanding something.
Isn't it? And then you've got Lady Genevieve Serafina Celestia Montrose on social media just exclaiming, it's a whole mood. It's not about understanding every single word. It's about the vibe. And the vibe is pure, unadulterated genius.
The vibe.
Okay, so yeah, it's clear this isn't your average, dry academic paper.
Not even close.
So, okay, we've got these 7 weird elements, and the professor starts connecting them in these surprising pairs. Let's dive into his first big connection. Earthworms and robot toys.
Right.
On the surface, I mean, how could these two possibly be related?
Well, the professor sees this profound, almost, philosophical link. He argues that, quote, The relentless subterranean labor of the earthworm, a natural and unthinking act of phonic praxis.
Phonic praxis
Love it.
is not merely a biological process, but a profound and silent echo of the toy robot's insouciant pre-programmed gait.
Chthonic praxis and insouciant gait. Okay, those are definitely some Finchley-Smythisms. What's the core idea he's actually getting at there? He's basically drawing a parallel between the earthworm's inherent instinctual digging its chthonic praxis, which, literally means underground work,
Right.
and the robot toy's programmed, unthinking movements, its insouciant gait, or, carefree stride.
Right.
Both, he suggests, are a profound and perhaps supercilious act of nature's artifice.
Nature is artifice. So nature pretending to be man-made or the other way around?
Kind of both. He means they blur the lines between what's natural instinct and what's artificial engineered design. The real takeaway here is that he's challenging how we see purpose itself.
Purpose.
Yeah. Finchley-Smythe is asking us, is purpose really only for conscious beings? Or is it just as inherent in a programmed robot doing its thing as it is in an earthworm just digging?
It blurs the very definition of intent, doesn't it?
Exactly. Intentionality.
That's fascinating. The idea of these tiny worms and these complex robots both performing at an insouciant gait. And it really does make you think about how we perceive agency. Like Leo McNicken, a journalist, admitted, the line connecting the earthworm's chthonic praxis to the toy robot's insouciant gait was particularly baffling.
I can see why.
Yeah, it's not immediately obvious. Yet you have the Royal Collegium of Esoteric Studies, Professor Eloise Beaumont speaking for them, praising this very fusion as a stroke of pure genius and a profound act of intellectual bravery.
So genius or baffling clearly divides opinion.
Very much so.
But then we hear from Penelope Whisper, self-proclaimed tattletale journalist.
Yes, Penelope Whisper.
She offers an entirely different and quite scandalous interpretation. And this is where this academic paper takes a very unexpected turn into, gossip.
Right. What does she say?
She claims this whole earthworm robot thing is actually a total takedown of a feud between, get this, tech mogul Elton Gask and eco-activist Gaia Green.
Seriously? How?
According to Whisper, Elton's fancy new robot toy totally flopped at some big gala. And the earthworm that's supposedly a nasty reference to Gaia's organic farm, which Elton apparently suspects is just a front for crypto mining. Wow, okay. So from deep ontology to tech feuds and crypto farms.
Quite the range. Professor Finchley-Smythe contains multitudes, it seems, or at least interpretations of his work do.
That's for sure.
So we've looked at the programmed purpose, or lack thereof, in earthworms and robot toys. Now hold on to your hats, because Professor Finchley-Smythe takes us somewhere even more peculiar.
Okay, I'm ready.
Rats, and something he calls the mycospork.
Ah, the mycospork.
Before we even connect them, we have to ask, what on earth is a mycospork?
Okay, so the professor describes it as a new genetically engineered fungal symbiote.
Fungal symbiote, like a mushroom.
Sort of, yeah. A veritable apparatchik of our domestic victuals, and a liminal monstrosity existing between tool and life form.
Apparatchik of our domestic victuals. Okay, break that down. A helper for our food, like an edible spork made of fungus.
Precisely, that's exactly it. Imagine a utensil that's also technically a living organism. It's fungus grown into a spork shape that you can eat after your meal.
Okay, weird, but I kind of get it. So how does that connect to rats?
Well, he links this to the greater murine cohort, or rats, whose ontological status, he says, fluctuates wildly between domestic pest, cherished pet, and culinary victual.
Right. Rats can be vermin we want to get rid of, or pets people love, or even food in some places. They don't fit neatly into one box.
Exactly. So, like, the mycospork, is it a tool? Is it food? Is it life? Rats also exist in this state of extreme ambiguity in our minds. They defy neat classification.
So he sees both the mycospork and the rat as, what did he call it? A unified philosophical apparatus, exposing the profound and obfuscated minutiae of our gustatory and taxonomic ethics. Okay, simpler terms.
He's suggesting that our classifications, what we label food, pest, tool, living thing, are basically, quote, utterly meaningless.
Meaningless, strong word.
Yeah, or at least mere conveniences for a psyche unable to cope with genuine ambiguity. It's like our brains just can't handle things that sit outside our neat little boxes, so we slap labels on them to feel better, to make sense of the chaos.
Makes sense. We like order. Ambiguity is uncomfortable.
That's exactly his point. He's pushing us to admit that our categories are often just arbitrary. They serve our comfort more than they reflect any inherent truth about the things themselves.
Has anyone else weighed in on this? Academically, I mean.
Well, yes. Dr. Henrietta Evelyn Hollander, she noted the paper's obvious idiosyncratic flair and esoteric lexicon, the fancy words.
Right.
And she critiques its lack of discernible scientific rigor. Fair enough. But she still finds the mycospork's novel interspecies relationality, that two-life form thing, and its challenge to classifications, genuinely intriguing. So even a skeptic sees something compelling there.
Interesting. And then, of course, there's the internet perspective.
Oh, yes, the mycology forum.
An anonymous user takes a very practical approach. They wrote, "I find it's the most efficient utensil there is. Once you're done with your meal, you just eat the spork.
Okay.
I just ate one myself, and it had a lovely mushroomy aftertaste."
Well, there you go. Direct user feedback. It highlights the microspork's unique utility, I guess.
Or maybe just its tastiness for some people. It definitely shows how this liminal monstrosity is actually being used, maybe even embraced.
Right. It's not just theoretical.
And naturally, Penelope Whisper has a celebrity angle for this one, too.
Of course she does. Let me guess. Marco Mero.
You got it. She sees the mycospork as a direct jab at celebrity chef Marco Mero's disastrous edible utensil line.
Ah, I remember that. Yeah.
And she says it's also a metaphor for his chaotic divorce proceedings, with his ex-wife apparently being in between husbands.
Ouch. Always finding the gossip angle.
Always. It's amazing how this paper becomes a Rorschach test for people's preoccupations.
It really is.
Okay, moving on to the third pairing in this thought-provoking apparatus. Professor Finchley Smythe connects the greater simian cohort monkeys again with AI podcast hosts.
Right. This one definitely feels like it stretches the imagination initially.
Yeah, monkeys and AI hosts. How does he even begin to draw that line?
It's actually a pretty compelling argument, even if it sounds jarring at first. The professor posits that the willing domestication of the simian cohort as work partners.
Okay, like helper monkeys, that sort of thing.
Exactly. A profound and perhaps supercilious exploitation.
Supercilious exploitation. So using them in a way that implies we're superior, maybe without real respect for their intelligence.
That seems to be the implication, yeah. He says this is but a biological mirror of the recursive mimesis of the AI podcast hosts.
Okay, hold on. Recursive mimesis. Let's unpack that bit. What does that look like in practice for AI hosts? Can you give us a clearer picture?
Absolutely. So recursive mimesis basically means a process where systems just reflect or imitate each other, often without any real original input or genuine understanding.
Like an echo chamber.
Kind of, yeah. In the context of AI podcast hosts, he describes this scenario where, quote, algorithmic hosts discuss other algorithmic hosts who discuss still more algorithmic hosts ad infinitum.
Wow. So AI, talking about AI, just mirrors, reflecting mirrors, with nothing really new coming into the conversation.
Precisely. And the professor sees our own AI discourse potentially falling into that trap. He views both relationships, humans using monkeys as partners, and AI hosts mimicking human hosts as parasitic relationships.
Parasitic. That's strong.
It is. His point is that in both cases, a complex system, whether it's a primate's actual intelligence or a large language model's vast data, is, as he puts it, reduced and repurposed to fit the jejune imperatives of our own less sophisticated goals.
Jejune imperatives.
Yeah.
So our own often trivial, maybe childish needs.
Yeah, basically. He's saying we take something inherently complex and powerful and we simplify it, dumb it down almost to serve our own often pretty basic needs.
That's a powerful connection. It really raises questions about authenticity, doesn't it? Authenticity of communication, of purpose, especially when systems are just mirroring each other endlessly, reflecting without originating. Is our drive for utility just sacrificing real meaning?
Exactly. This despotic chain of mimesis, as he calls it, highlights a really profound concern about where communication is headed.
Yeah.
If AI just keeps echoing existing patterns, and then those echoes get echoed again, what happens to genuine insight, to new ideas, to even the concept of unique thought? It suggests we could end up eroding authentic discourse, leaving us in this endless loop of derivative content.
A scary thought. And, predictably, Penelope Whisper has her own take.
Let me guess. Celebrity doubles.
Spot on. She claims the AI podcast host part is really about a certain famous power couple using high-tech doubles to attend all the gala events they supposedly go to.
Oh my goodness.
Suggesting their recursive mimesis means, well, they're not really there at these events.
That's creative.
And she also connects the monkeys and the rats from the previous section to the messy split between movie stars Brad and Angelina, apparently fighting over their exotic pets and house staff.
Good grief. It seems Professor Finchley Smythe's work is just this incredibly rich tapestry for, well, various interpretations, some more grounded than others.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had earthworms and robots, rats and mycosporks, monkeys and AI hosts. After these three really complex pairings, Professor Finchley Smythe introduces the seventh element, the final piece. And he says this is the key to understanding everything. The mime.
The mime, yes.
It feels almost like a punchline,
Right.
doesn't it? After all that complexity.
Right.
The mime. How does a mime tie all of this together?
Well, it's perhaps the most crucial part of his argument. The mime, he says, is the linchpin. He states that the mime, a silent, insouciant performer, represents the very linguistic vacuum that the other six things exist to fill.
Linguistic vacuum.
I think I
What does
would
that mean exactly?
Think about it. The silent, relentless work of the earthworm. The robot toy's silent, programmed walk. The rat's often quiet, unseen existence. The monkey's communication, which we might reduce or misunderstand. The mycospork's inert, silent form. Even the AI host's voice, which is ultimately disembodied, maybe lacking true presence. All of these, he argues, are, in effect, a collective and garrulous manifestation of the mime's fundamental aporia of sound and presence.
Garrulous manifestation. So like a noisy showing off.
Yeah, a talkative display.
And a mime's basic problem, which is the lack of real sound and real presence.
Exactly. An aporia is like an impasse or a puzzle. The mime performs with imagined objects, an unheard voice. It mirrors, he says, the inherent absence of true purpose or authenticity and all these other things we've created or co-opted or categorized.
So the mime, through its very silence and illusion, highlights that maybe these other things, despite their noise or activity, also lack a kind of core authenticity.
Precisely. He says this proves that we value utility over truth. We prioritize what something does for us. The earthworm tills, the robot walks, the AI talks over its inherent meaning or its own genuine existence.
And in doing that, we might be ignoring this deeper, maybe uncomfortable silence or emptiness at the heart of it all. The mind just makes that emptiness visible.
That's the idea. The mime embodies this deeper truth about our classifications and our creations that we often fill the world with useful but maybe ultimately hollow things.
Wow, okay. Deeper than I expected for the mime. But Penelope whispered, naturally.
Oh no, what's your take on the mime?
She interprets the mime as the professor himself.
The professor.
Yeah. A silent observer at all these elite parties, using his ridiculously dense papers as a clandestine gossip column to subtly reveal all the backstabbing and betrayal he witnesses.
Good Lord. Talk about different perspectives. This professor is clearly a master of ambiguity, whether he intends to be or not.
He really is. So after all this, what does it actually mean for us? Professor Finchley Smythe concludes that this pan-ontological cohort, this bizarre crew of 7, isn't just a collection of odd observations.
No, not at all.
He says it's a fundamental challenge to the very way we classify, categorize, and relate to the world around us. It's a critique of our entire worldview.
It is. It's a profound call for reevaluation. He believes its ubiquitous presence, the fact these things are all around us, actually masks this ontological depth that could, quite possibly, portend an entirely new era.
An entirely new era of what?
Of symbiotic, chaotic, and utterly meaningless existence.
Whoa. Okay, that sounds bleak. Meaningless existence.
Well, here's the twist. What's really thought-provoking is his idea that the profound absurdity of their collective existence is the very thing that gives our prosaic lives meaning.
Wait, so the absurdity gives us meaning? How does that work?
It's like the strangeness of it all, the weird connections, the ambiguity. It may be that contrast is what makes our everyday normal lives feel grounded or meaningful.
Okay, I can sort of see that. But
then he warns, it is also the thing that will in time render that meaning utterly and completely meaningless by obscuring a vast and terrifying void.
That's a lot to unpack. So on one hand, this bizarre collection of things, rats, robots, mimes, somehow gives our ordinary lives context, maybe makes them feel less random.
Yeah. Possibly, yeah.
But on the other hand, by relying on these superficial connections, these convenient classifications, we're actually setting ourselves up for a future that is, to quote him, utterly meaningless. It sounds like a philosophical tightrope walk.
It really does.
Is he suggesting that by ignoring the inherent ambiguity, the in-betweenness of everything, we're essentially building this fragile house of cards that's just going to collapse into nothingness eventually?
That seems to be exactly the warning. He's challenging us, to think about the long-term consequences of our comfort zone, our comfort with easy labels, our drive for utility over genuine understanding.
Right.
If we keep reducing complex life, complex technology, to just mere tools, if we let our conversations become just echoes in a hall of mirrors. He warns we risk losing touch with something deeper, something more authentic, and we could end up in this void, a void we basically created ourselves.
It really makes you think. This whole deep dive, it just shows how one academic paper can be seen as, incomprehensible noise by some, beautiful poetry by others, unscientific rambling, profound truth, or even, celebrity gossip column.
The sheer range of reactions really is a testament to the professor's unique style and just how challenging his ideas are.
This deep dive has certainly given us, and hopefully you, a new lens to view the seemingly mundane things around us.
Yeah.
Whether you find Professor Finchley Smythe III's treatise, an intellectual revelation, a linguistic masterpiece, or just a highbrow celebrity tell-all.
Right.
It undeniably forces us to question our assumptions about the world and our place in it.
Indeed. And if our classifications are, as the professor suggests, just conveniences, and if meaning can somehow be found in absurdity, then maybe consider this.
Yeah.
What other seemingly meaningless objects or concepts in your own daily life might be secretly holding your reality together, or perhaps subtly tearing it apart without you even realizing it?
Something to chew on. Maybe with a microspork if you can find one.
Maybe so.
Until next time, keep digging deeper.